Welcome back to Midwest eSports Formula 1. Wow. And tonight we are in Division 1. I think I was getting ahead of myself there.
Yeah, we sure are. Season 12 is almost wrapped up. We have just 5 more races on the calendar before we crown a Season 12 champion here for Midwest Division 1. Cannot wait for that action to play out here tonight in Imola. Thankfully, the race here is not sponsored by anybody other than Midwest eSports. So it is just the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, I believe. So less than a mouthful.
Really extended the name this year in real life, didn't they? I gotta pull it up.
Sure did. It's like the MSC something or other, Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, made in Italy.
Oh, made in Italy, I think.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they're gonna have this in the app because it's too long.
It is. It's egregious.
I saw Formula 1 MSC Cruises Gran Premio del Made in Italy Del Emilia Romagna.
Yeah.
Did they just add the Del because of the Del sponsor?
I believe so.
I don't think that was there
MSC
before.
and Dell were both like last minute ads. And then they should work something in for like Senna's 30th as well, where that should be in the title. But yeah, that's just egregious. But it has been very exciting to see all of the festivities around Imola. This is one of the first tracks that I fell in love with as a sim racer and a Formula 1 fan. And then later on, like just from driving the track, I fell in love with it. Later on, I learned all of the rich history of this just absolutely historic track. So very excited to be back here once again. I'm not sure how many races we have called at Imola proper.
I think just one.
Just one, yeah. So it is going to be an absolute blast. Again, we both know this track like the back of our hands, so it's going to be should be very easy to call some of these corners, especially those 2 chicanes that lead down the start-finish straight to start off the entire circuit. Really looking forward to those high-speed corners with the D1 crew. We do have 4 drivers who are out this week. Those are Travis Scott's, the Plums, Cynical, and VTech. And in for them, in the Alfa Romeo, will be the Nogginator. For Ferrari, they'll have Is Rapper. For Red Bull, it is Slayerized. And finally, Haas will see Final Flame taking that 4th out of 4th final replacement seat, reserve driver seat here tonight. So thank you to some of the D2, D3 drivers who are stepping up tonight, some on very, very short notice. Looking at you, Nogginator, who just took the nod and ran with it about 30 minutes to qualifying. So cheers to all 4 of those drivers here tonight. Hope you all have a wonderful drive.
Yeah, it looks like we have 18 people in qualifying right now. Missing just 2. And I can't pick it out. Is that... Oh.
It's been a while.
One for Williams, it looks like, is sitting or not in right now. And which other team doesn't have 2? AlphaTauri.
Yeah. So we will hopefully see those drivers here in just a moment. We have yet to have a time on the board, but GSR Edwin does lead the pack on the scoreboard. So as these drivers get warm, get ready to start setting some times, we will recap briefly what we have missed in the last few weeks. So I believe the last race that we called was Brazil, correct?
For D1.
For D1, it was Brazil. The next week in Miami, we were with Division 2, and then the week following that in Spa, we were out entirely. So both of those races were crowned to Maki. So Maki winning in Qatar, in Monza. A brief respite for Gott Palmer to take gold in Brazil, and then it was right back to the Maki show for Miami and Belgium. Maki, now the most winningest driver on the season, just nudging out Joe Workingman. Wait a minute, that's also Mackie. Yeah, Mackie has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the 10 races on the season. So definitely a commanding season 12 for the man with 2 names.
I'm looking for him right now. Which one's he going by?
You know. it's
Or is
always
he,
it's always a guess. Let me double check and make sure that he's not out this week. He may be.
he is, well, yeah, he's only
Mackey.
Williams is Nikki, so.
Mackey is on the roster here for tonight, so he may be making a late entrance into qualifying. We do have 13 and a half minutes to go as some of the drivers are already setting times. That is race day up atop the grid right now in provisional pole with 1:14.4, followed by two 1:15s of Slayerized and Mr. Chuck Blazin. Scott Palmer now goes fastest.
Thank you. And Scarenzi goes second. Very close too. Both 1:14.3s, just 2/100ths of a second off of each other. Imagine that's going to get a lot quicker, though. We usually see another second or two gained over qualifying.
Yeah. Do we know if F123 if it rubbers the track at all? Like, are there physics on the track where it does get grippier as the trial goes on?
I imagine they do. I think
Run in a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, because most of these guys do. If it didn't, there wouldn't be too much sense in all of these guys doing the last minute, improvement. So something's changing out there.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely be keeping an eye. But the bar has been set. 1:14.3, the time to beat. Nogginator looking to set something competitive here. We'll see what the Haas can do. The Alfa Romeo can do as traffic yields to the replacement driver here tonight.
Kicking up just a little bit of grass in that corner too.
GSR Edwin now joining the 1:14 club with 1:14.8 looks like. Very small on my screen. It could be a 6.
You were right. It is an 8.
Hey. Cool. I don't need to schedule that eye appointment just yet.
Well, you can always blame the computer if that's what's happening.
Hello, everyone in chat. Hello to our parents who are, seems both hitting the bottle tonight in celebration of Imola. And Spaceman as well. Hello, everybody. Canes were eliminated. Rangers are on. I don't know if he's talking about hockey or Formula One.
A bit of both. He's saying that the Hurricanes were just eliminated. I think they.
I see. The Rangers trudge on.
I mean, mine says there's 10 seconds left, and they're only down by 2 goals. However,
crazier stuff is happening.
Saying he needs to be cheered up because Hurricanes are out.
Yeah, and my own father. There is no commentators, bias here. He is a big Scott Palmer fan. So there it is. You heard it. The better half calling this race already for Scott Palmer, who is our provisional pole sitter still with that 1:14.3.4. The bottle hit us. There you go.
I think these cars need some flashers that let us know that they're going to go into the pits, because I've switched 2 or 3 drivers who are dipping into the pits after this. Oh, that looks like it got pretty close out there. I don't know if it was just the camera angle, but these 2 cars almost trading paint.
It looks like Gunner joined the race, but was sat in a Haas. So saying, is that okay? Am I okay?
Is that... Okay, Discord doesn't want to open everything now. He's supposed to be an AlphaTauri.
Yeah, he sure is.
I didn't know if he's in filling in, or can you change the paint in the pits?
Yeah, honestly. They're doing that right now. They're trying to get him out in time. Still have yet to see that second Williams of Mackey. If he doesn't make it to qualifying, he's not going to win an 8th race on the year. So it wouldn't be the worst thing for the rest of the track that is sitting here anxiously waiting for him to not make it tonight.
Now, looking at the points overall, I actually won't affect him because he is in third place in the Drivers' Championship, but 100 points over race day in fourth. And a first place gets you 60 points. So he's safe for at least this race. We'll close that gap just a little bit. But he will lose distance on Scarenzi and Gott Palmer if they both finish the race. Scarenzi is roughly 40 points ahead. And then Gott Palmer is another 50 points total.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on the the Aston Martin here tonight of Scarenzi. A win here would get him back atop the points in the driver's race. Has he held it? Yeah, he has. Last time Scarenzi held first place in the driver's standings was round 5 out of Japan going into Qatar.
Scarenzi also, he won the first race of the season, but that's been it for him. Found himself, I want to say, on the podium most other times, occasional picking up like a 4th place. But usually we see him on there a couple more times. Past few seasons, he's had multiple, both season 10, season 11, multiple victories.
Yeah, still, I mean, one of the most consistent drivers that is on the grid, that's on the track right now. But yeah, it is. You're right. It is very shocking to see that dip in win percentage here from Scarenzi. I mean, week 10 last year. Oh, well, I guess last season he only had 3 wins on the season last year. Season 11. Season 10, 1, 2, 3 as well. So there's still time for him to get his 1, 2, 3. Maybe tonight will be that elusive win number 2 for Scarenzi. So we will be watching. But we're on board with Gott Palmer right now, who has been dethroned. Final Flame and Race Day getting the better of the Alpine. Race Day really getting close to that 113 mark with just around 6.5 minutes to go. Boom, there it is. To go in Q1 and only. I can't speak tonight. Race Day may breach the 113 mark here in the next few laps. Final Flame not far behind currently in the pits, getting some tweakage done. Gott Palmer is the first one to the 113 line. It's a 113.975 on the softs for the Alpine. He makes his way back up to the top of the grid. It is now Gott Palmer, Race Day, and Final Flame.
You called that. He just broke into the 113s. Getting very close. Race Day just over a 114, so less than 1/10 of a second slower than Gott Palmer. Scarenzi, 1/10 of a second up on his time, but he's going to have to pick up another 3 to look at the potential pole position.
Yeah, it looks Scarenzi may need one more lap. If this one's a good one, continue that pace on, and we may be able to see a competitive podium, front row.
He's going to get a draft off his teammate, though.
He sure is. There goes DRS across the line. Will it be enough? Scarenzi moves up into 3rd place past Final Flame with 114.2. That is just shaving off a few. He still has time to get closer and closer to that 113 mark. Race Day now in the pits for just a while. Expect him to come back out on track before the end of this thing is all done to try for that first spot, but he is still on the front row, so eyes will be on the green machine of Aston Martin here in the final minutes. Reimer, his teammate, Race Day's teammate, now out on an outlap. We'll see what the other McLaren can do, trying to fight their way higher and higher onto the starting positions. Nicky now jumps up into 8th with a 114.9. We still yet to see laps from Gunnar and Houdini. I'm sure Gunnar still trying to work out some of the technical aspects of running in. I mean, it's not even like the same kind of color car. It is just the polar opposite of a blue Williams. I'm sorry. What's his? Williams? No, that's Mackie. Now I'm all turned around.
Me too.
Yeah, it's one of them.
AlphaTauri.
Thank you. Yeah, that's just not right. But we go by the names on the tree, on the standings tree, and not the color of the car. So thankfully, we do have that bit of a crutch.
We also have been out a few weeks from D1, so we're not going to be mentally linking some of the team and drivers yet.
No, it's been a long week. So, I mean, they're all long weeks, but like no caffeine tonight. Just, kind of a slog. But we're going to pick up pace here. I promise you. We had someone go off a few laps ago in that final corner right before the penalty, or the pit entrance. Imola, known for those gravel runoffs, does not leave you a lot of space in some very, very dicey sections of this track. Not a lot of room for error anywhere on this track. You either have this thing memorized and know what you're doing, you retain that focus through the entire race, or you're going to have a bad day. There's really no middle ground there.
Yeah, a couple of these corners, I'm trying to think of the best word to describe them, but they're like you get close, and then a couple of them you can catch your tire in the grass before catching some of the rumble strips. If you do that, it is over. I know the first time I raced this track with you, I had a terrible time going through Sector 1 with all of the like mini chicanes. We'll try and pick it up from Final Flame. Should be going through them right now. He is on an outlap, so not at full speed, but you've got this chicane with 2 of the raised bumpers. Then you got another turn to the left, but it's very flat. The track is not banked at all. And then this one, another chicane with high bumps in the middle, and you go too far left, you dip your tire into that sand and you spin.
Yeah, you have to let off the gas. No brake there, or else you're going to lose the line, but you do need to let off the gas to about 70, 65% to make sure you don't run off. Got Palmer with a debilitating 5-place grid penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That is going to be a huge blow for the Alpine, who is still the only driver to breach the 113 mark on the track today. He will now be starting 5 places behind where he qualifies. Again, that is just devastating. Bob, I'm sure you are crying into the bottle right now as we speak to see a McLaren possibly on provisional pole.
I wonder if sometimes I take a look at that. It showed up for me as illegal blocking, which can be the game picking up the intentions wrong. They're all getting ready for their final lap here in qualifying, and sometimes the game picks up illegal blocking, even though both of these drivers are taking it nice and slow. He's got his teammate behind him. So we'll see what comes of that. Sometimes they can reset the grid order, but we'll see.
Yeah, we have seen it before. And also with the giant fishbowl section, there are just a lot of corners that you need to hit perfectly here. This Sector 1 is what is going to make or break this race. I cannot wait to see a full grid flying through this sector. You get right to here, and this should be where we see the grid starting to spread out as we are on board with, I believe, Scarenzi. Here, another track just to let up around this corner so you can hold all this speed going down the hill full on. Squeeze that far outside corner. Be careful not to hit a track limits on the out as you head up that hill.
I can't tell if his, looking at the mini-map too, sorry, I can't tell if his teammate Sui is also going for the lap or if he's going to try and allow Scarenzi to pick up a draft yet again on the final corner. They are getting close to each other, and I think that's what they were kind of setting up for.
That is a really smart move from the Aston Martins here around the fastest section of Sector 3 and across the line. Scarenzi hits a 1:14.215. That is going to be a checkered flag for the Aston Martin. That's going to notch him down into 4th. Race Day and Final Flame both atop the Aston Martin, but as we did see, Gott Palmer may be suffering from a grid start penalty. Race Day goes fastest with a 1:13.9.
Just flying in that final corner. He cut as close as he could to the pit wall to shorten that track. Now his teammate Reimer is looking to jump up from 7th, maybe join his teammate in the front row. Look it up into 5th.
Well, if there's any question whether or not Gott Palmer truly deserved pole position here, Race Day just said, yeah, I don't think so. Beating him by 5/100ths of a second. Just phenomenal performance there by the McLaren in the final corners of the qualifying session. Gunner and Houdini will finish this session with no times recorded, but we will still be seeing them on track. Still no word from Mackie, so there will not be a third race in a row where we see a Williams atop the podium. We're going to have
Nicky's still out there.
Sorry.
Wow.
Wow. Easy G's.
What an impartial commentator.
It has been such a pleasure to call Midwest eSports Racing. Tonight will be my final show.
You don't have the excuse of being an older commentator who occasionally forgets. You just calling him out like that. We know what you were going for. We won't see that Williams on top of the podium.
Yeah, it's
see that Got Palmer saying Callie Robb was too close and he got the 5th-place penalty. So that's what happened. I think Callie Robb, just both of them on their outlap, snuck a little too close behind Got Palmer, and that's enough to give him the 5th-place grid penalty.
In the words of some of the acquaintances that I remember from high school, it do be like that sometimes. There we go. 5th-place penalty assessed to the Alpine. It's going to knock him down on the grid. But there you have it. Starting row, Race Day's McLaren, and final flame in the Haas. Up next, it is week 11 from Imola. Season 12 of the Midwest eSports Formula One Division 1 right here on Nick and Mitch. It's week 11 of the Midwest eSports Formula One season, and we're live from the legendary Autodromo Enzo Idino Ferrari, also known as Imola. This historic track is one with little remorse. Known for punishing even the most trivial of errors, tonight's champion is going to have to pull out all the stops to taste that sweet champagne. Just over 3 miles in length, the 19 turns through the Emilia-Romagna landscape only offer one DRS zone across the line in Sector 1. Overtaking opportunities are limited elsewhere, so tire management and pit stop strategies are going to be crucial. Keep an eye on the start, too, as the battles all the way through Turn 4 are sure to spike the old heart rate. We've all been away from Division 1 for what feels like ages here at Nick and Mitch, so it will do us both some good to review the latest standings through the first 10 races of Season 12.
Yeah, so we'll take a look at the Constructors' Championship. Aston Martin started off in Saudi Arabia with the first place, but Alpine quickly took over that spot, delegating Aston Martin to second. We then saw the rise of Williams from the driver Mackie Marquis, or whatever name he is going by. As we got to Monza, we had Aston Martin swapping back up on top, going to Miami, I believe, 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago in Belgium, and now we are here in Imola. Alpine 101 points in the lead for the Constructors' Championship. Aston Martin in second with Williams just 14 points behind them. Then have Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes, Alfa Romeo, and then AlphaTauri, Haas, and Red Bull.
We have some close races on the board, but only 5 circuits remain on the season. The pressure is officially on. from Imola. This is Season 12 of Midwest eSports Formula One Division 1 on Nick and Mitch.
Sorry, I got the music just a second too early there.
Redo it. Tell them to restart.
Hit the intro button again. I've got one giant button that says Midwest eSports intro, and I can hit it.
Roll it. What's up, Gnarly Duck? Nice to see you back here again. Even though we aren't in the home state of Florida this week, we still have our guest from down south. Very nice to have you here tonight. We're on a formation lap with the McLaren leading the grid. 1-2 will be the McLaren Haas starting, followed by an Aston Martin and the other McLaren. We'll see if Reimer and Race Day can keep these bookmarks in check through the first turns of this circuit. You know Scarenzi may have something up his sleeve here to try and get by one of those front runners in the early stages of this race.
And Race Day just way out there on the formation lap. Final Flame taking some time, and then we have the rest of the drivers behind them. It looks like it's a little cloudy out. Might want to take a look at these tires.
It's a little cloudy. If we remember last year in real life, Imola was canceled. We did not have a real race in the Emilia-Romagna region because the track was like 1.5 feet underwater for the entire weekend. So rain, definitely a familiar friend here in Italy. We'll see how it holds off. We'll see how these drivers fare. Hopefully we don't need to stop this race or change strategies for inclement weather tires. But we may very well might have to, so stay tuned. Only time will tell. 32 laps separate us from a championship celebration here on this wonderful Thursday, spring Thursday evening.
That's the camera angle I'm going to get for the start.
I mean, it'll be easy to call lights out, but... All right, this is the camera angle we're getting for the start. Week 11 of Season 12 is underway in Imola. It is Race Day leading the pack down the first start-finish straight, followed by Final Flame. Scarenzi now getting past the Haas. They battle into turns 1 and 2. Final Flame is able to keep it out, nudging ahead and retaining second place. Nikki now getting into a feud with Is Rapper in the middle of the pack. We head into turns 3 and 4. Those first 3 are remaining steadfast, but we still had some movement through the grid. Looks like Slayer Eyes has spun out in the Red Bull. The replacement driver dropping through the pack. Doesn't look like he's taking anybody with him, though, so he will be able to return to the racing action. No stoppage of play just yet. Race Day now gaining a lead, trying to get up to 1 second here in the first lap of this race. Final Flame, if he has anything to say about it, is going to keep that tight. He may just not be able to hang on to that McLaren for much longer. Race Day taking this one for an absolute drive.
He's starting to put that distance on. His teammate, though, Reimer, getting challenged by Cali Rob early on. They have just one DRS zone coming up here on the track in a long straight, but that'll open in lap 3. Cali Rob's not going to need it, though. It looks like he's going to challenge heading to the inside of turn 1.
We should see a tire strategy pop up from the game here soon, if we haven't already. And DRS should be active in the next lap or so stay tuned for that as the pack does get some separation here.
Race Day's down.
Race Day in the wall, dropping quickly through the pack, re-entering a bit unsafe, if I had anything to say about it.
To his car handles, it looks like he's going to immediately go back to battle with Sui for 9th place, so McLaren looks all right for now. He's able to handle it well in the corners.
Yeah, it was... I'm trying to check a few of the paddock chat messages here, but those were all from qualifying. We do have a caution in Sector 2. Doesn't look like...
Does it change tire strap? That makes no sense.
Oh, does it? It changes
It-
per person?
It does,
Whoa,
but
whoa.
ooh,
That Williams is sickly.
whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, can't do too much when you're running 2 on the ground. 1 up in the air.
I mean, the
1
car
tire's
is
flopping.
set up with the right camber for a left-turning track.
It sure is. Look at that. I've
got the-
never seen that in the game.
See, he's got to get that right tire down to.
It looks like
it's
he
just
bent the frame. I mean, I know it's just that back left tire, but he is struggling to get to the pit. Oh, there should be a safety car.
well, he's got. Looks like the
looks-
drivers are about to enter sector 3, so he's got just a bit more time.
Oh no, this is horrible. This is like the actual FIA right now. Here we go as he heads into the pits. Nicky is going to hopefully be able to just pop another tire on and resume racing.
I
But
kind of want to see.
what an unfortunate turn of events. We lost our race leader, race day, now in 9th place from a possible spin. Maybe there was contact. We'll have to see. These drivers have not stopped to communicate on Discord because they're driving. Race day now getting up into 8th place past GSR Caesar, as I believe DRS is now enabled on track. We'll see if race day can claw his way back up into at least podium contention, but it is now Final Flame in the Haas, leading the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix in lap 4 of 32, followed by Scarenzi and the other McLaren of Reimer.
Does look like Nicky put on the wet tires or the intermediate tires in the box. Saw some light sprinkles coming down. So if it does rain,
Huge.
I mean, he'll at least get a little bit of space back. It looks like someone else is coming out of the pits. Slayerized in the Red Bull, the other car that was involved in an incident in the first few laps going into the pits. So maybe fixing damage and putting on those intermediate tires as well. We'll see when the leaders do that. Valentine commenting, look at that top 5. Don't think we've seen this top 5 before, at least in this order, with Scarenzi and Gott Palmer in 2 and 5, and then a couple new drivers.
If you missed qualifying, Gott Palmer went 2nd fastest overall on the day, but received a 5-place grid penalty due to something. Mitch saw one thing, I saw the other. But Gott Palmer started this race in 7th place, and due to a spin, dropping Nicky and Race Day down in order, Gott Palmer now up into 5th place. His rapper in 6th in the Ferrari, the replacement driver, holding his own, but there is a definite split between those top 5 in the mid-pack. GSR Caesar and Mitch Burns going after it now for 8th and 9th. GSR Caesar getting the better of the Alpha Tauri here in the latter stages of Sector 1.
And we've got 4 drivers battling here up at the front. The rain coming down harder than it was a lap before, but I don't know how much they know about the weather forecast. Doesn't look like it's going to open up or downpour. At least what I'm reading from these clouds. I don't know about how the game works, but if I saw this in real life, I'd maybe stick it up for another few laps and see what happens.
Right. Yeah, let it ride for now, but you know, I do believe there is a button you can ask your pit wall about the weather conditions and what they suggest. But again, how volatile are the weather patterns in the game? Are they really going to change, or, you know, only time will tell. But we've now entered that game of chicken that Lando Norris so eloquently put. Scarenzi now taking 1st place through Sector 1 under DRS. He's still on slick tires, albeit looks like hards. He's in it for the long haul, but he is now leading the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, Imola Grand Prix in 1st place. Leading in 1st place. That's a quote.
So eloquent.
Yeah, really just wordsmith over here. Spilling out of me like 2-week-old milk.
Looking at this gap, though, we have top 5 drivers all within a second of each other, all within a half second of each other, and then Race Day in 6th, 6 seconds behind, and then the rest of the pack pretty close to him, except for a couple drivers at the very end there.
Whoa, watching a huge overtake there. Houdini taking the outside line over Cali Robb as we tune into the helicopter shot for just a brief moment. Looks like Houdini's might be trying for 2 here. He was getting up on Sui, but Cali Robb going to try to take it back. It's closed out as they head into the late chicane. That was an awesome move to catch.
Valentin saying, all they have is a weather update from your engineer, some rant about it being dry, damp, light rain, and if dries or wet tires are faster on the track right now.
Not comprehensive. Okay.
No.
Fair.
I guess enough, but I think the dry, damp, light rain, kind of obvious if you're out there on the track, unless it's telling you a bit in the future.
There may only be one DRS zone on
a
the
little
circuit.
bump,
We
I
had
think.
a little contact there. Yeah, Cali Robb. Or was that, who was that? That was Cali Robb getting past the 2. The DRS zone, we may only have one. Sorry, we have another spin. Mitch Burns is going to drop some spaces here. Looks, can he regain control? Yeah, he can. That Alpha Tauri now down into 15th after just a little trip to the beach. Through DRS, we missed while we were in the back of the pack watching the overtake, Houdini over Cali Robb. Reimer and Final Flame both getting past Scarenzi in Sector 1 with the assist of the DRS. So Scarenzi now back in the 3rd place, but that just goes to show how influential that DRS advantage can be on a track like this. You know, you really need to take every single bit of advantage that you can get. And that is just the perfect speed harvesting DRS zone. I absolutely love the straight across the line here in Imola. Reimer now leading the race once again. Is this the first time Reimer has led the race today? This is the first time the second McLaren will take a stab at leading the Imola Grand Prix. Trying to get to a half second, but Final Flame staying very, very close. These top 3 are all within 1 second of one another, and it is just absolutely phenomenal to watch these 3 go after it. This is perfection in motion at close to 200 miles an hour. Reimer down into the, what I call the fishbowl. I'm not sure if that's like an actual, Imola term, but handling that very nicely, maintaining this little DRS train of the top 5. And we're going to see some speed here in just a moment.
Valentine giving us some more good info. As a racer, don't pit until you can see tire spray, which is when the grip starts to get questionable. And then you won't gain any time against the dry tire until it's obvious that you need to go into the pits.
So we're going to pull out what Lando Norris said a few races ago. Final Flame beating Reimer there down the DRS straight. Lando equating, making the decision to go to wets, to like Martin Garrix, deciding when to drop the beat in the club. You kind of just have to feel it out. You have to feel the crowd, and there's a lot more that goes into it than just what you can read on paper. You really have to feel the track out and know when it's time to call it quits, because up until that point, it will just be a disadvantage. Race day looks like he was heading into the pits. Did you catch what tires he put on?
I'm gonna have to pull this up. It looked like he went from went to inters. I don't know if he was. The animation it showed, I think it showed that he was on inters before, but I believe he was on those mediums.
Yeah, he was racing something competitive for sure.
It threw me for a loop because I saw green.
Wait a minute. Yeah, so now only the second driver on the track to make the early switch to inters. Slayer Eyes sandwiched in between them in 17th place. The only driver on a soft compound right now.
Never the wrong time to go for a fastest lap, although if it's drizzling, it might be. Big shakeup, too. Looks like GSR Edwin coming up into 3rd place, taking that from Scarenzi. Starting to slip back on those hard tires. He is right on the tail of that Mercedes. And got Palmer's getting close, too. Our pole position before he got 5-place grid penalty, and then we had Final Flame. take pole?
Yep.
Thank you.
Sorry, I was mesmerized by how aggressively Scarenzi took turn 4 into the straight before 5 and 6. That was phenomenal. Able to maintain pace. We have an Alfa Romeo in the grass. We also have a Red Bull in the grass. Both of them having a bit of time in the park. Nogginator and Sharia both taking brief respite from the Grand Prix. They will rejoin the pack and racing will resume.
I've seen a lot of cars go off so far, and almost all of them have been fine to continue racing, except for that Williams that out of nowhere just got set on the angle.
Yeah, for a moment there, I thought that was like a contorted body damage, something with the front strut or with the actual body being warped. But then I took a minute and thought, wait a minute, the body is carbon fiber. It's not metal, so it's not going to twist. It's going to shatter. That has to be, and then we saw the tire. So happy that it was just that and it was able to be swapped out.
I'm very impressed
Valentine.
with this top 5 pack, by the way, just sticking together. The DRS zone might help in this case, where you have this one very long DRS. First place is almost always going to drop down the second each lap, with the drivers behind closing that gap as well.
Valentine, we need to get you a microphone and a login here because we need our Karun Shandol down in the paddock to give us the insight on the race action. Phenomenal. If you are in the chat, if you're watching this back, please click the live chat. A lot of good info here from Valentine. Thank you very much for the info dump. Talking about how Imola kills tires pretty quick. They've hit the 30% wall, and pitting for anything but a wet tire when you're expecting rain will kill you more than just pitting for the wet tire while the track gets wetter. Reimer doesn't need any assistance from a wet tire just yet. Those mediums doing just fine to reclaim the top position. We have caution flag in sector 2. Someone's in the sand out there. Looks like it may be
race day.
It's race day. Maybe the inters weren't the call. Cali Robb getting above GSR Caesar right there. Both Ferraris 6 and 7 now.
Yeah, hard to tell what's going on right now, but just not quite clicking with that car. And maybe he picked up some damage earlier on too. I know he's already been in the pits once.
All right, yeah, Valentine. We'll be in touch.
Maybe next week.
Maybe next week.
I mean, I always have things on Thursdays, but I think it's this.
Yeah, it's just this. I know. Race day also getting a 5-second penalty. Not that it matters too much because it's showing that he has retired from the session. Whether that was terminal damage to the car or just sheer frustration, very well could have been either. We will wait to see if the paddock chat sounds off with anything juicy here in a few moments' time. We'll be sure to bring that to you as soon as we get it. We have another caution in Sector 1. Confirmed race day has left. But it doesn't appear that anyone else is struggling too much. That Mercedes of GSR Edwin was poking its head out just a couple of times there, seeing if they could overtake the McLaren, but Reimer able to hold strong in second place for now. But do not count GSR Edwin out. He has been making up spots pretty consistently. I believe he started in 6th or 7th here today. Definitely has pace, definitely has the setup for the track. I mean, just look at this, shaving time off of Reimer's interval.
Reimer just picked up a 3-second penalty now for track limits, so that'll put him out of contention for first for a while unless something drastic changes. But we do have Final Flame, Edwin, Scarenzi, and Got Palmer. I believe all of them would move up above Reimer right now if their gaps hold. This is going to come down to like not making a mistake if they're staying, staying out while the track starts to get wet.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, this is, I write something along those lines every week, but this is truly, you're really going to need to keep as perfect a line as possible. Scarenzi trying his luck against the Papayas. Reimer able to hold on the outside, closes the door on Scarenzi through the straight into the sweeping left, and up the hill we go. Scarenzi tried. Reimer said, no, not just yet. I still got this for a moment. But GSR Edwin was able to get past him under DRS, now up into second place. Final Flame still leading this as we approach the halfway point of the Imola Emilia Romagna Made in Italy. Nick and Mitch, Dell, HP, Forza Ferrari, Tifosi fans, Grand Prix 2024. Hashtag F1 Racing.
You could probably stretch that out for the entire lap if you really needed to.
I was trying, at least to get a sector, but
looks like Reimer is now. Oh, he's just closing back in. That 1 second gap. It's going to be close. I don't know if he's going to pick up DRS, which will put both him and Scarenzi at the disadvantages. Edwin is going to put that to full use, and might he be yet another race leader we have today?
What would that be? How many would that be? Reimer, Final Flame, Scarenzi, race day. That's 4 at least.
Got Palmer? No, he hasn't.
Palmer has yet to breach the podium, so this may be the fifth pole sitter that we see here today, and we're not even halfway through this race. Just about, not close. Speaking of pole, race day finally sounding off in paddock chat, and this one breaks my heart. Bust out the world's smallest violin. I get pole, have the best start of my life, only to have, you ready? Everything come apart. Sigh. Breaks my heart. My brother in yellow. So very sorry. Did I say yellow? My brother in...
He did.
I'm drunk. Caution in sector... I'm not. Caution in sector 3, and it's Nicky again. Was that a second rear tire that blew off of the Williams? Yes, it is. His front right tire is off of the ground right now. Nicky has done it twice in a single race, blowing out a back tire. We'll see if he goes back to inters or if he puts on a pair of slicks here. He's going for the mediums. Hopefully these ones can stay on the rims for a couple extra laps. What's going on in the Williams garage?
I'd say it's starting to look like it might be a chassis issue at this point, where a car's just not it's whenever he's turning, the car's poking the wheel and popping it out.
Camber too aggressive for today?
Yeah, they threw on a new rear wing that's so wide it's cutting into the tire.
Honestly, Nicky is just here to, call him the cheese grater today. He is just giving out pieces of rubber to the fans left and right. Scarenzi trying to make up some of that gap to the Mercedes. Ooh. Whoa, bit of contact there as Scarenzi gets a bit too close there through the chicane. Whether that was Scarenzi or GSR Edwin, not sure. GSR may have tapped the brakes a bit extra there, but to no effect. They both retain their spots. Nobody is injured. Racing will resume. Scarenzi just may get a few extra fingers poking out above the halo if he manages to get past the Mercedes.
Could be. Final Flame still able to hold on to first place, though, through DRS on the last 2 laps. So I think GSR Edwin and Scarenzi are heavily involved in their battle, which is letting Final Flame kind of stick out in front.
Yeah, got Palmer as well. Those 3, 2nd through 4th, are very, very close, and they're maintaining that pace. We could see some switch up here in the next few laps. Slayerized, the second car to leave the race here today, will not make it to the checkered flag as he leaves the session. Does look like Slayerized is still out on track, so this may have been a disconnection or a connection issue. Slayerized may be back. We will wait and see. But It is time for the pit stop shuffle. Few drivers going on to the inters, a few still staying out on slicks. But from what we hear from our correspondent, does not seem like it's the time yet to switch to fully commit to inclement tire compounds. Keep those slicks because they are working for the majority of the pack. Final Flame diving in, we'll see what he puts on.
And he might be able to come out in front of it looks like his rapper is going to jump up. I'm going to say that top 4, top 5 might almost be able to keep their positions completely. Final Flame, looks like a couple of them are going into the pits now. Coleslaw picking up a 3-second penalty for corner cuts, it looks like. And Final Flame going onto those hard tires, so I think our top drivers are just going to stay on slicks for the rest of the race.
Makes sense. I mean, we'll definitely see the linchpin moment. You know, if it goes wrong, we're going to see all of our front runners duck out at the same time, losing traction through one of these corners.
I wonder if Scarenzi and Gott Palmer will stay out a bit longer because they are on their hard tires.
It makes sense.
We do only have 14 laps left, and they've gone 18 so far on their hard tires. The other drivers have gone 17 or 18 on their mediums.
Whew. Yeah, so it's definitely feasible. GSR Edwin taking the nod into the pit lane. Scarenzi returns to the top of the grid, leading the Imola Grand Prix 19 laps in 13.
Yes.
Valentine getting some cheap shots in on Sharia while both hands are on the wheel. I'll allow it. Speak your truth, Prince.
I feel like I think it was mostly in Division 2, but I was getting a couple of those Discord notifications that are just like, you know, so-and-so is talking about, and gives you an AI summary.
AI summaries, yeah.
And it was just like, one was about something, and then one literally said something like, Division 2 chat is talking about driver drama. And I was like, oh boy. And I opened it up and there was like 50 missed read messages.
Oh no.
And I'm like, oh, okay.
That's very, very interesting that it found that and was like, yeah, this is just driver drama. Like, it's interesting how it classified
whatever
that.
the notification is, I was like, this is spicy. It's like
Phenomenal.
Scarenzi and Gott Palmer are both going to go into the pits just one lap after Reimer and Final Flame. So we'll see if they're able to come out, if that, you know, overcut works a little bit, or if the undercut for Reimer and Final Flame will instead. Scarenzi already out of his pit. Reimer is going to be coming down across the finish line. And boy, is it going to be close. No, it's not.
Never mind.
They're still at their pit limiters. Yep, never mind.
That was so good. Thank you. Callie Robb goes fastest on a soft compound. It's 117 for the Ferrari.
Oh, just cinema.
Honestly. This is free, folks. You're getting this broadcast for free.
Does explain the level of commentary they're getting, but it is in fact free.
You do get what you pay for, but there are moments, there are diamonds in the rough for sure.
We do have the shakeup with Scarenzi and Gott Palmer are on the medium tires though for the rest of the race, and Final Flame and Reimer are on the hard tires, so they could catch up. Scarenzi's 4.5 seconds back on second with 12 laps to go.
Truck Blazin being awarded a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings.
It's tough when the track's starting to get slick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a test of nerves. It's a test of everything, skill, all of it. Gets a little scary. Reimer now back in the mix, hunting down that Haas like a man possessed. This track does have, if you are a fan of late braking, Imola is your track. You can absolutely put this thing on rails. If your car is right, it is so much fun, and you can really make up time, especially heading up this hill. One of my favorite points to try and close a gap. Get real snug, real close into this chicane. Careful not to spin it. Reimer is able to do so, but we do have a couple of caution flags waving here in the middle of the pack. Nogginator looks like something may be up with that Alfa Romeo.
Ooh, look at this coming over that hill.
Slow. Yeah, that was a sick camera angle. Again, I love those like one-off track angles.
Yeah.
So cool. And you can see the water is starting to collect on the track as you see that pace line, you know, a little lighter, a little drier than the rest of the track. So conditions are worsening. 10 laps to go. Pretty consistent in the front of the pack here. Is this our podium? Haas, McLaren, Aston Martin. Who had that on the bingo card tonight? Or will Gott Palmer finally be able to crack in to this top three, getting past Scarenzi here? We may be seeing an overtake, and the highest rank that the Alpine has had in the entire race so far. Still no spray, says Valentine, so the slicks stay out. You heard it here, folks. It's gospel.
He also mentioned that there's no ABS or traction control in Division 1, so it's even spicier out there. I think F124, when we do our two-player career, I might try everything turned off.
We can try, sure. I'm not going to be able to start.
Well, I think we can change. I don't think we both have to do the same thing necessarily. That's true. It would be awful.
So yeah, so that's what we're going to have to do. I think you and I are going to run a season. We haven't completed a full season together.
No, I think we quit after Monaco last time.
We always try and film them. We're like, oh, we can put these up on YouTube. And then guess what? We never end up following through because it's work. So instead of that, we're saying screw the videos. We're just going to race a season for us. But we still may be able to do a one-off video that we can play. Whoa, some underspin, some oversteer there from Reimer. Kicking that back tail out through the corner. Did we mention it's getting a little wet? But maybe we'll have some highlights from the early days of F124 once that is released and the two of us have it with the Division 1 settings applied. I'm scared. I genuinely think that I will spin the car out on the starting line and I won't even see, the exit of Sector 1.
I think that could be a good, first one before we go to whatever settings we want to do for a career. Is just see how we are able to handle those cars with everything unlocked. We get a Division 1 guy in there, or maybe cousins, some friends. Just have some pure chaos out there on the track.
Yeah, it's chaos. Chaos is a word for it. I'm gonna say absolute, poo show. But
I know the first time I tried driving a similar type of car in iRacing, I could not turn because I just locked up every single corner.
Oh no!
It took me probably like 5 laps to actually start turning the car because it's just like, nope, lock up. Everything was just straight.
Oh, I'm doomed then. Heading up the hill, Scarenzi able to try the pass on the inside. Reimer closes that door, forces Scarenzi to the outside, and keeps him at bay in third place. That does nothing but help Gott Palmer ever so slightly gain on Scarenzi as well as we head into one of my favorite chicanes. Boop, boop. Careful now. Careful now. We did see Scarenzi nudge the back end of, I believe, who was that earlier? Was it? It was Final
I think it was
Flame.
Edwin.
Or yes, it was Edwin. Sorry. He may do it again. Very close to the McLaren here as we approach the start-finish straight. DRS goes open. Scarenzi ready to make his move on the outside. Does so handily. Gott Palmer also getting by Reimer. Both of those boys under DRS, able to get past the McLaren. Who's now final flame. Scarenzi, God Palmer, and Reimer get into it. God Palmer draws the short straw and is knocked back down into 5th place with a dramatic spin through the first turns of Sector 1. Reimer retains 3rd. That was a great save by Gott Palmer there. That could have been absolutely devastating for his day.
Could have been, yeah. And Valentine, I already forget the order, but saying that he's trying to break Reimer's DRS to final flame and playing these games like a genius, like a boss.
So that's, we can assume that's Gott Palmer, who was, or no, sorry, Scarenzi.
Might need clarification there. It's already too many drivers change positions.
Yeah. But I mean,
feel like it would have been.
I believe it was Scarenzi because Gott Palmer was trailing.
No, Scarenzi was in 3rd. Someone in front of him had a penalty. But was trying to get that back up. I don't know.
Anyway, Scarenzi and Gott Palmer, both clinicians out here on the track. They are playing chess when we are just playing fiddlesticks. Scarenzi, Valentine calling for Scarenzi.
Well, Scarenzi's now.
Yeah, now he's toying with the leader. He's on a mission. We've seen this so many times.
And he's on those medium tires. They've been working very well. I think they were, what, down 4 seconds, 5 seconds when they came out of the pits?
Yeah.
Close that. Now he's looking at a lead. Reimer's 4 seconds back in 3rd with penalties. So with just 6 laps to go, got 2 drivers right now fighting for 1st. Coming up on the back of the pack, though, or at least somewhere in the pack. Looks like Gunner.
Oh, look at this. How great is this to have 2 race leaders within 3/10 of each other through an entire lap? This is phenomenal driving as they pull away from the rest of the pack. Reimer trying to start his own race back there in 3rd. Scarenzi will not have DRS on final flame, but this is a quick straight, and he does have a slipstream, a natural slipstream. Taking the inside goes Scarenzi. He is in 1st place of the Imola Grand Prix. Ellie, where are you? We are under 10 laps to go. The Aston Martin leads this race. Scarenzi is hit with a 3-second time penalty, though. Absolutely gutting. We'll see what kind of damage he can do to gain the interval on final flame, but the Haas has had speed all day long. He is not going to let that happen. So this is really going to be a fun game of maths here in the latter stage of this race. Mitch, that's all you.
What's all what he said?
What?
What's all me?
The math, the penalty math of who's going to win.
Penalty
and
math.
Who's
Yeah,
go.
we'll get there. I was reading Valentine saying that you put a bunch of pressure on the driver in front because they got to defend. They lose their DRS.
Yep.
You still have DRS. You get past. You continue to challenge. He then says it's now time for wets. Dry runners are at high risk.
What?
Bacon saying dries are still faster. My mom asking, "Where's Ellie?" All of these questions.
Everything's happening.
It's tough at this point. You've got 4 laps left. If you pit, you're going to lose 20, 25 seconds. Can you drive a couple seconds slower on the track? I've done that once or twice with almost dead tires where, yeah, I'm going to be 3 seconds slower, but I've only got 4 laps left, 12 seconds.
Valentine saying Scarenzi had a slight twitch and was pulled off the track. The stewards being a little uptight here on track limit penalties. I wonder if that was arguable, if we're going to see a steward report following today's race from Scarenzi to try and get that 3 seconds removed. Only time will tell there. But I do want to say before the end of the race, thank you very much to the stewards who will be receiving any and all reports following today's checkered flag. Pork Chops, Lancy, and Knuckles, our head D1 steward for Season 12. Thank you very much to those three and all the others who keep Midwest eSports above board every single week and every single league across the board. Thank you. Scarenzi trying the outside once again. They are nose to nose, and he is not going to be able to do it. Will he be able to take the outside on this one? Trying every which way to get around this Haas. Final Flame has the number, reading him like a book and holding true to his race. Final Flame still in possession of first through the DRS, through the intro of Sector 1. Phenomenal driving against one of the greats.
I think Scarenzi's looking to put just a ton of pressure on Final Flame, try and get him to make a mistake at this point, because that 3-second penalty, unless that can get removed, is not going to finish him first unless something happens to Final Flame. But Edwin is sneaking up 2.5 seconds, and guess what? He has no penalties. So
this is going, it's the same thing. Scarenzi's playing the same move, pressuring the car in front, trying to get him, well, instead of lessen the interval now, he's trying to get him to mess up, twitch, hit that wet grass, and spin out of his way, so Scarenzi has some chance of retaining a podium.
Yeah, I think Edwin's closing this gap. He's got 2 or 3 laps.
There we go, lap 30. Tire compounds locked in for the remainder of the race. Scarenzi able to use DRS to get that first place for now. What can he do to try and finish as high as possible? We have a car somewhere out in the sand trap there in Sector 1. Is it Nicky again?
I thought it was a Red Bull. I don't know. They're gone now. Yep. Oh, yeah. It's looking like one of the vintage cars.
Sad. Looks like the RB7 out there. Jeez. Oh, huge break there from Scarenzi.
We're getting another caution. I think that might just be because the Slayer Eyes crawling down.
There may be some debris on the track there. We'll have to see where that front wing ended up. But yes, Scarenzi really giving it full beans here in the final stages of the race.
I think they're coming up on, Scarenzi's coming up on Slayer Eyes. Hopefully that doesn't draw a safety car. I think he's going to be able to get into the pits in time.
Now into Sector 3. He's definitely limping, and there he goes. Able to clear the track, thankfully. Chuck Blazin getting a 5-second penalty, adding on to that 3-second earlier. This time it's for corner cutting. You can't do that. You just can't. This is the rules.
And Final Flame's going to jump into first place into the corners again.
Now we get back to watching Scarenzi drive like every Baltimorean on I-95 between the hours of 4 and 6 p.m. Monday to Friday. Getting right up in there and all the hardware of that Haas. Taking a real in-depth look at that at the back diffusers.
I don't know how some people just have that mentality to be able to drive behind a car like that.
No, I know.
In the game, in real life for sure. I feel like playing racing games has made me even more cautious as a real driver. Where I leave like so much space in the car in front of me.
Oh, there he goes! Scarenzi into Sector 3 through the chicane is able to get past Final Flame. No DRS needed. Sorry, Mitch. It was a wonderful snap of whether he activated whatever ERS he had remaining or just used pure old aerodynamics. That was a clean move from Scarenzi, but Final Flame going to have another shot here at DRS. Here we go. We'll see how the Haas fares. Closing. Will he be able to take the outside? Yeah, with ease as he slingshots past the Aston Martin of Scarenzi. It's an absolute dogfight here in the final lap of Week 11, Season 12, Midwest Esports Division 1 Racing from Imola. It's Final Flame and Scarenzi. They've been at it for this entire race. We had race day with an early DNF leading this race in the first lap. took a disastrous spin in the following few, and then just had a few snaps of bad luck. The Final Flame has been holding strong. We've had 5 race leaders here today in this just spitty, gross, damp race. It has been a phenomenal one for sure. One for the books for these drivers. Just a phenomenal grouping the entire way through. Scarenzi not done yet. Still thinks he has something in the tank. And if he can keep this pace, he may be crossing the line first. It may not be a first place podium finish, but under DRS, will Scarenzi be able to get past the Haas before the line? He will not. Final Flame finishes this race in first place, followed by GSR Edwin and Scarenzi in third.
I think GSR Edwin had a 2.5 second gap at the end, so with Scarenzi's penalty, Edwin will go up into second. And then we have Reimer finishing fourth, Gott Palmer in fifth, and then looks like the Ferraris will be 6th and 7th. There are a couple more penalties for these drivers out on the track.
Yeah, great driving there from Scarenzi to keep the interval as far away from GSR Edwin as possible. It was, not 100%. He missed out by 0.4 of a second, but still we will be seeing him on the podium because he just was able to keep that interval under the 3 seconds that his penalty required. Great race by all, but I believe my driver of the day would have to go. It would have to go to Scarenzi. That was a great race. He was playing a chess match.
I don't know. As much as I love Aston Martin, I might have to go with Final Flame and the Haas. He was battling the chess master, as you say, all race, and was able to take home first place and not go off track too. Sometimes with Scarenzi pushing right behind you, I think you also hope that maybe you can force the other drivers into, competing and losing their mentality and picking up one of those 3-second penalties in the final laps, and then it's a wash.
Yeah. Well, the replacement driver for Haas will take his first Division 1 win of the season here in Imola. Phenomenal race from Final Flame and GSR Edwin and Scarenzi. I mean, everyone had a wonderful drive today. A few snaps of bad luck, but that's what you get up in D1. So, for the first time this season, we see a Haas up on the leaderboard as a race winner that will break the Maki domination this season and give some much needed points to the Haas garage.
Might break up trying to look an Alpine on the podium for almost every race in recent, or an Alpine or a Williams at least. Just been so dominant up there, but no blue teams up there today.
Absolutely phenomenal and totally unexpected. This is what you like to see. We also didn't have a single safety car deployed. We had a few DRSs, a few connection issues, a few nose cones, front wings just being lopped off. We had a few tires flying off into the sand. We had some lift kits that were rapidly installed on a Williams twice. But not a single safety car. That race ran and it was closed and dried, and we're 10 till 11. I mean, that may have been one of the fastest races that we have ever covered on the channel. And honestly, I wish there were 10 more laps. That one was so much fun to follow. And those drivers were so competitive from the green flag to the checker. That was a blast. I can't wait to watch this one back.
Yeah, sometimes they pick up at the end of the race and in it until the very end.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you very much for joining us this week. Again, just 4 races remain following this week's broadcast. 4 to go before we crown a champion. And the points are starting to space out. We are starting to see some leads really cementing themselves above the rest. But anything can happen with 4 races to go. So be sure to stay tuned. Here they are next week. You will find us in Singapore, followed by France, Canada, and Austria. Singapore on the 23rd, same place, same time, right here on Nick and Mitch. I believe that is a Division 1 race. And we may also be joined by Valentine, somebody else, whoever may want to join in as an expert in the craft would definitely be appreciated, so we don't have to just vomit for 2.5 hours.
We're good at that, though.
And hope we sound like we know what we're talking about.
He wants us to commentate his return to D3 as well, and hope that McLaren hat brings him good luck.
Absolutely. Here, I'll do a little rub for you. It is the Lando Norris. I'm still running the victory lap. We're in week 3 now from the trophy, and I'm not ready to give it up. I was listening to P1 podcast the other day, and they said, I believe Tommy, his crazy prediction for the upcoming race in Imola was another Lando Norris podium, if not a Lando Norris champion in Imola. Said that he's just pulling something out of that McLaren right now, but that will remain to be seen this weekend. Thank you very much for joining us for another race, Midwest eSports Formula 1 Division 1 on Nick and Mitch. Thank you very much to Pork Chops and all of the other commissioners of this racing league who allow us to host these races on our channel. The honor is all ours. And thank you as well to the channel supporters who pay a little bit every month to make sure that we have all of the licensing and the graphics and all of the everything that make these broadcasts special. So thank you to our YouTube members, executive producers, Bone Crusher 2D, Coach 34, and Mama Bell, along with our co-producers, Killa Vapor and Captain Snowbeard and Kirsten, and our Fans and Fans Plus. You want me to finish it?
I can finish it. If you want to become a YouTube member as well, you hit join down below, and we use that for all of the pretty stuff, like the graphics that we use at the beginning, the fancy moving stuff, our overlays. You get cool stuff like emojis, badges. It's all listed down there. If not, you subscribe too, and you'll get a pop-up during the stream. If not, I'll make the noise the next stream if I remember.
I'll make it with my Nick will make it with his voice.
Yeah, we'll just text each other and we'll get that going on.
There you go.
I think that's it. I don't know.
I think that's all.
Yeah.
Subscribe. At the very least, click the subscribe button so you can stay up to date on whatever division of Formula Racing we are covering on a Thursday night. Maybe it'll be Valentine's return to Division 3 action here. If not, we can make a highlight reel for that return. Just make sure you film, you hold your content capture. We'll talk Valentine. We'll see you in the box next week. Hi, Ellie. She's finally here. Sorry that you're feeling under the weather. Glad you tuned in. Hopefully you saw that race. It was a fun one. We'll see you next week. Thank you very much. I'm Nick.
I'm Mitch.
Have an awesome weekend.